Bad Advice Part 2. This is a series based upon the comments that are made by people who completely fail to understand the true nature of narcissists and the narcissistic dynamic. They are legion. Supposed relationship advisors, dating coaches, love gurus, and so forth, who repeatedly are confronted by the dynamic between victim and narcissist, not only failing to recognize it, but they dole out bad, poor, dangerous advice. Whilst the comments that are made are indeed well-intentioned, they are incorrect, inaccurate, and they perpetuate misunderstandings, with the consequence that in many cases they create false hope, dashed expectations, and perilous outcomes. In Part 2, we analyse the phrase, "Let him go, but tell him you will always be there for him." I have seen this advice given when an individual has been entangled with our kind. I have seen this advice provided many times. The suggestion of distancing oneself from the other person in the relationship, but then not distancing oneself by first of all contacting the individual to say, "I will always be there for you," and then of course ensuring that you are, which means keeping your defences down and low. The victim has endured the push and pull behaviour of being told that they are not good enough for us, as they suffer a sustained devaluation, or perhaps the puzzling being picked up and put down of the shelving dynamic between narcissist and intimate partner secondary source, narcissist and dirty little secret, narcissist and non-intimate secondary source. The individuals cling on, and then they are taken off the shelf or they are given a respite period. The victim is conned into thinking that their approach has caused the return of the golden period, the return of the narcissist by taking them off the shelf and treating them well. What they fail to understand that ultimately the return is down to us and our decision, whether conscious or unconscious, dependent on which type of narcissist you are dealing with, and is nothing about what you have done. It might be that an external source, such as an intimate partner secondary source, has infuriated us, and therefore they have been devalued and then placed on the shelf. And in order to create the contrast, we have returned to you with a golden period where you are the intimate partner primary source. It might be that this has also coincided with the provision of positive fuel, and our narcissism decides that because this serves our purposes best, we will allow this provision to cause us to treat you in a benign way again. You have outfueled your rivals, or rival, even though you do not realize this is what has happened. Although, of course, part of this is predicated on the action that you've taken, there can be no way that the outcome is guaranteed with success, and the decision is always down to the narcissist. Accordingly, this on then off, this push then pull, this up and down, in and out behaviour leaves a victim totally puzzled as to what is going on. The narcissist may have said such things as, "This isn't working, I need space. Perhaps if we have time apart, this will bring us closer together again. I need space to clear my thoughts. You are putting me under pressure, and I don't need it. Just give me room." All of these comments, of course, are issued as part of the ongoing manipulative behaviour of the narcissist, and their effect is to confuse the victim. Yesterday, the narcissist and victim went out for a wonderful picnic, and then today we talk about needing space. You don't understand. What has changed? From your perspective, nothing has. From ours, it is the fact that something has caused a challenge to our control, and therefore you are given the manipulative comment as described. Our perspective causes us to occasion the need to assert control over you and to gain fuel from you. Yesterday, you were not challenging us, and it was good for the facade to spend time with you and the children, and you all provided the narcissist with positive fuel. It was a good day, both in terms of the prime aims for the narcissist, whether he's unaware or unaware, and for all of you, because there were no tantrums, no silent treatments, no sulking, no fallouts. First thing the following morning, the candidate intimate partner secondary source that is being cultivated in the background left a glowing and admiring voicemail, which shifted the narcissist's attention onto them, and then reminded the narcissist about why you, as the intimate partner primary source, has been failing them. Their behaviour causes them to be viewed white, and you are shifted to black, even though you have done nothing. And this is what makes it so difficult for you to gauge what is going on, and why you should always ensure that you stay away from the narcissist. Even when you have had a pleasant day and everything seems well, it can change in the instant, either because you challenge the narcissist's control, resulting in a response which is malign, or something else happens in the fuel matrix which causes you to move from white to black, even when you actually haven't done anything. And therefore, in this instance, the candidate intimate partner secondary source that has been cultivated in the background during the sustained devaluation has painted white. This has resulted in the intimate partner primary source entering the sustained devaluation again, being painted black. And when the intimate partner primary source tried to hug the narcissist in the morning, seeking to capitalize on the previous day's delightful picnic, she was rebuffed and chastised on the basis of, "Please, give me space, you're smothering me." The victim recoils, hurt and confused, pushed away again after being pulled in. After months of this treatment, the victim speaks to a well-meaning friend, seeking the advice of some supposed relationship expert, and the victim conveys their misery, the uncertainty, and how often there have been conversations about splitting up and spending time apart. This advisor listens, yet fails to recognize the behavior of our kind and what is behind it. The advisor attributes it to someone who is failing to value you, which in a way is correct, but they don't grasp the real reason behind such behavior. The victim has fallen into the trap of trying to find a reason to explain this behavior through either the influence of an external agent or, in common with the victim's capacity to self-flagellate, your own apparent shortcomings. Between the victim and the advisor, you conclude that the position at work and at a recent bereavement have resulted in this confusion. This failure to identify priorities with you and your advisor suggests that giving the narcissist the often spoken about space would be entirely advantageous. Show him that you will give him what he keeps saying that he needs, but also let him know that he continues to have your love and support. Let him know that you are there for him when he needs you, but you are going to help him by giving him the space that he requires to get his head together. He will get what he needs, value your support, and then he will realize just how much he wants and needs you, the advisor explains. Horseshit. Meaningless, bad advice. So, feeling reassured by these apparently sagacious words of the advisor and the detailed conversations you have had with this advisor, you tell us that you're going to let us go, you're going to give us that space, and that you'll always be there for us. Bad move. Of course you'll always be there for us. We expect that already, either consciously or unconsciously. It is the central feature of the narcissistic relationship that you belong to us. You're only telling us something that we know anyway. However, what we actually hear when you say this sentence or something similar to it is not that you're trying to do what we want. We do not hear that you are trying to accord with what we desire, no matter how much you would rather not do so. We do not recognize this act of sacrifice on your part. Why? Because, as ever, we are far too concerned for ourselves, and we hear what is being said through our lens, our perspective of control. What we hear is that you are trying to escape us, and therefore that you are threatening our control of you. It doesn't matter that we have been the ones who have threatened to leave, that we have repeatedly told you to back off, leave us alone, give us space, that we are thinking of going, leaving, separating, or however we decide to describe it. No, that is irrelevant, and of course we will twist and deflect to ever deny that we said those things. You made us do it, of course, because it's your fault. We hear you saying that you're leaving us, you are escaping, you are threatening our control. You, as our intimate partner primary source, are about to cut off the provision of our precious fuel. You are threatening our control, removing the character traits and the residual benefits. And the narcissist response, whether conscious or unconscious, is to fight against this, and you're putting yourself in a dangerous position. Your wounds challenge us, and accordingly the narcissist reacts by asserting control over you, possibly in a benign way to begin with, and often in a malign way. Our self-defense mechanism kicks in, and we respond. How this manifests varies dependent on the type of narcissist you're dealing with. You may be given pity plays, you may be shouted at, attacked, emotionally blackmailed. The narcissist may burst into tears, crying for himself, of course, not for you, nor the death of the former relationship, or the narcissist engages in charm and threat to halt your intended departure. This supposedly kind and charitable act on your part will be met with an attempt to stop you leaving. This will both confuse and relieve you. You will undoubtedly remain, as you never really wanted to allow this cessation for the provision of space in the first place, and you will confirm to us that you didn't want it to end. You will reassure, and in so doing, you will stop threatening our control, and you will provide fuel. We will appear pleased, relieved, and so forth, and of course, we do not, at that juncture, want to lose our primary source of the prime aims, at least not until we are ready to disengage. Do not think that your kindness and consideration will be met with approval thereafter, however. Your attempt will be thrown back in your face as evidence of your treachery, digging up the past, and do not even think about suggesting that you were only doing what we wanted. And you will be punished for this traitorous behaviour through the continuance of the devaluation and the imposition of greater nastiness. Your confusion will return. You tried to do the right thing, and your advisor suggested that this was the right thing to do, and look what happened. This is, of course, because nobody has identified what you have entangled with, nor understood how we behave. You are bewildered, perplexed, and miserable again. Do we want you, or do we not want you? Of course we don't want you. We want what you provide to us. The prime aims of fuel control, character traits, and residual benefits. And therefore, the relationship advisor fails you by failing to identify the dynamic that you're involved in and the individual that has ensnared you, and moreover, furnishes you with bad advice which results in adverse consequences for you. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.